Depends what it is. Yeah, so good morning everyone. Firstly, yeah, thank you everyone for rocking up today. I was also expecting more people, but let's not underestimate the influence we can have as a group of a dozen people here today. My name is Scott Wallace. I'm an environmental scientist, activist, and a really passionate educator. I've been living on the Gold Coast for about 10 years now. Now, we're all here today, obviously representing different organisations, where some of us are here as individuals. What's brought us together is that unity and passion for animal rights and a whole different range of animal justice issues, right? Now, the reason why we're all here is because at some point during our lives, through one way or another, we have come across and experienced the injustice that we as humans are inflicting on animals. We've opened our minds and hearts to the truth and the reality of actually what's happening to non-human animals here on our planet. So we've all sort of come into this arena through different ways and at different points in our lives. But it's when we get to this point where we're passionate about animal rights and we get to a point where we're here, maybe some people are coming to a rally or protest for the first time today. Maybe some people have done a lot of engagement with the public and done a lot of events like this before. It doesn't matter. The most important thing is that we're here and that we're promoting the messages of animal rights and veganism and bringing that to the public domain. Now, for me, my background is in environmental science, and the way that I came into animal rights was initially looking at the environmental footprint of my diet and my consumption. Now, the animal agriculture industry is the single most destructive industry on the face of our planet. There's no doubt about that. And unfortunately, I studied at a university which had the first environmental science degree in Australia, and animal agriculture wasn't discussed. So the environmental footprint of animal farming is suppressed, it's pushed to the side, and the people and the public aren't aware of it. Scientists aren't being informed and aren't having this taught to them. And obviously environmental organisations aren't addressing animal agriculture. And obviously government, in Australia at least, is not taking enough action to address animal agriculture. So I came to veganism through the environmental perspective and soon realised the impact that the animal agriculture industry is having on the animals. Talking about 70 billion animals a year on land that are being bred and killed just because of justifications of culture, convenience, pleasure and taste. These are the best reasons we have, right, for exploiting and harming animals, which is not good enough. So one thing I've realized is that once people start opening their eyes and minds to the reality and the truth of what's happening, obviously there's a lot of introspection and a lot of reflection that's occurred as a result of that. And we find ourselves with unnecessary suffering on this planet, the murder and slaughter of animals and the exploitation of animals on a scale that we cannot even comprehend. We can't actually comprehend what's happening. We're disconnected from what's happening to the animals, and the reason why we are here today focusing on animal rights issues and a whole bunch of different animal justice issues because we've had these sort of deep underlying beliefs and values and philosophies that are driving our society. We're fighting the symptoms of a system that has been human-centered for a very, very long time. Now, although we may focus on a particular action or getting people to consume differently or to not support this industry, we need to also focus on a deeper level. Because the reason why people are taking these actions, as most of us have at one point of our life, eating, consuming animal products, supporting animal exploitation. I used to be a pretty keen fisherman, a lot of hunting and gathering and exploiting the ocean at the same time as I was volunteering for Sea Shepherd and studying marine science. So a lot of contradiction there in terms of my values and beliefs and my actions. And there's a reason why we as humans and as consumers and people of the public have been disconnected and haven't been acting in alignment with the values that we feel. It's because the way our system is set up, the way that we have been taught from a young age, has been to view humans as superior and separate to nature. At its core, we've seen ourselves as better and superior to nature. We haven't been, we've been told that, to view some animals as less important than others. Some animals are considered food animals, some animals are considered to be worthy of conservation and protection where others aren't. Now this is as a result of that human-centered thinking, anthropocentric worldview that has continued to disconnect us from nature and animals and the rest of the natural world, right? So these things are really, really deep rooted within our minds, within our hearts, within our society, within our governance, law, religion, education, everywhere. So we're at this point where most of the world isn't vegan yet, where most of the world is still supporting animal exploitation because it's been very well crafted and it's been intentional that we are in a society at this point. And we need to change that. And by being here today, we are taking steps to actually change that. But I just want to emphasize again, if we can start looking at deeper cultural shifts within our minds, within our hearts, with the words we use, with the way we interact with nature, the way we talk to people about humans' relationships with nature, that's going to be really, really powerful. So yes, it's very important to focus on individual actions, but if people aren't feeling differently on the inside and they're not connecting with animals in the way that we need them to, yes, the actions are important, but it's not going to affect substantial, long change. After my science degree, I decided to study law because I wanted to understand why and how can I better protect the environment and the animals through using the law. Now, a lot of people, when we think about government and law and politics, we're just a bit disinterested in it. We're a bit apathetic. We think, what can we do? How can we change things? And I understand that because we are disenfranchised as, you know, as a collective community, because we don't see the substantial changes in government that we know people want, for example, right? And we need to understand that we do have so much power, we do have so much influence as individuals and as a collective community that we should never, ever underestimate that. So when we focus our attention and energy towards animal rights issues and veganism and any way that we can better protect and look after the non-human animals on our planet, that's immensely powerful. And we know across the world that veganism is skyrocketing. A lot of people are coming to veganism as a result of animal rights issues and their concerns about the morality and ethics of using and exploiting animals. It's very, very important that we keep this at the forefront of the development of our society, because I can't think of anything more destructive for humans and the environment. Look at our consumption of animal products, the environmental footprint, the impact of human health on consuming animal products, and the impact on the animals, first and foremost, the victims that we are disconnected from as consumers. And if we can share our stories with other people, if we can help people reconnect to those important values that they hold on the inside, such as compassion, such as respect, justice, love, kindness. These are values and beliefs that people feel on the inside, but unfortunately we've been conditioned out of that over our lives as a result of this human-centered worldview. Things like speciesism, where we're discriminating to animals based off their membership of a particular species. Things like carnism, that's conditioning people to eat certain animals. All these things are in place to keep the industries supported by consumers who are unaware of what's happening, to keep profits coming in, and to keep animals being exploited and oppressed and finally suffering at the hands of humans. So, we are bombarded constantly with these messages of eating animals is normal, natural, and necessary. Getting on the tram here today, I walk onto the tram and the whole side of the tram says best ribs in Queensland, and a picture of chopped up corpse of a cow which has been cooked. Everyone getting on that tram sees. So we're bombarded with these messages, and it's going to take a lot to change the mindset and the hearts of people. Really what I think it comes to is reconnecting with values that are already inside of us, already inside people. When we realize that we just need to align our actions to those values. If you ask most people if they, are they in support of animal cruelty, people are going to say, no, I don't support animal cruelty. And that's whether they're eating meat or not eating meat or other animal products. If you say, well, do you think it's wrong to cause unnecessary suffering on animals? Most people are like, yeah, I think that's wrong. We need to educate people that unless they're living a vegan lifestyle, that veganism is the least thing that we can do for the animals and for the planet, the least thing that we can do. We're not going to have a zero footprint on this planet, but by choosing to not support animal exploitation industries, that's one of the best things we can do to look after the animals. So help people reconnect, help people realign as best as we can to values that are in them, and relate to people and share your story, because that's very, very powerful. I don't think anyone here has been vegan their entire life in terms of being brought up vegan. If there are people, good on you. But a lot of us have just become disconnected at some point in our life as a result of our upbringing and education and parents and government and everything, which was focused on keeping us exploiting and eating animals for a very, very long time. So things are changing, and if anyone tells you things aren't changing, they're lying. You look at the stats, you look at the facts, and you feel the energy momentum around the animal rights movement, and it's expanding exponentially. There's no doubt about that. So everyone here today is a part of that, and it's only going to be up to us, who are the people who have understood the facts and the reality of what's happening to animals, the people who are concerned about animals and are taking steps to promote animal rights. We're the ones going to be promoting animal rights, not people who are not concerned about it. So it's up to us to have our voice heard, to be catalysts for that change. And whatever means we can, through whatever our experience, whatever our qualifications, networks, skills, abilities, resources, whatever we can bring together to promote those messages in whatever way we can, we need to be doing that. No one's going to get things perfect, but it's about putting in that energy, putting in that effort, and to not be so harsh on ourselves, and not to fear having those conversations with people, not to fear putting that post online that's going to get people thinking. Don't underestimate every word you share with people and the impact that has on their life. Because for most people here, it's watching one documentary or talking to someone, for example, at a gym about the dairy industry, that changes their life forever. It changes their whole perspective. So we need to change our culture, and everyone here is a part of doing that. So keep it up, guys, and thank you for your efforts. Renee.